morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. My name is Callie, and this is another weekend of clarinets, cats, and coffee. I've been talking a lot about dynamics in lessons lately, and I've really been pushing myself more in my own practice sessions as well. And I recently came up with I think a better way to explain dynamics. So I'm gonna share that here with my YouTube community to hopefully get you guys thinking about your own dynamic range, and I'll give you an etude here to practice dynamics as well. Instead of thinking as dynamics as being these static things, loud, soft, very soft, medium loud, medium soft. What do those even mean? Instead, think of each dynamic marker, pianissimo, piano, mezzo forte, so on, as being a range of volume within your overall dynamic range. In addition, it can be very useful to think about each dynamic category as communicating some kind of character or a mood, color, timbre, whatever you want to assign to it, but it could be useful to add some adjectives to each dynamic marking. So I like to think of, and it depends on the piece of music that you're playing too, but in general, some adjectives I use to describe pianissimo would be intimate, special, in the background. Piano would be introverted, gentle, covered. Mezzo piano would be shaded, blended, warm, dark. Mezzo forte, thinking open, round. Forte is strong, extroverted, bright. And fortissimo, powerful, overwhelming, in your face, or full. Now, when we're thinking about dynamic category as being a range, then when we can think of crescendos and decrescendos in two different ways. One way that we can utilize crescendos and decrescendos is to act as a bridge from one dynamic range to the next. For example, from piano to forte. So we're essentially using a crescendo or decrescendo to shift our sound from one mood to another mood, one character to another character, right? So this helps move your listeners' emotions along with the story you're trying to tell. The other role is not as frequently talked about, but it's so important. Crescendos and decrescendos are used within each dynamic range itself to add what I call dynamic shaping to your phrase. So dynamic shaping is, I think, something that a lot of younger players are afraid to do because they think, well, if I crescendo through this phrase, then I'll be at forte. And if I decrescendo through this one, I'll be at piano. And while you may be pushing your boundaries within each dynamic range and almost getting to the next one, if you're practicing correctly, you'll actually have a lot of room to work with in each dynamic category. So you can think about dynamic shaping more like an artist adding shading to their drawing to make it look more dimensional. So when you observe master classes or see people teach, a lot of times you'll hear the teacher say, give the note shape, give the phrase shape. That is what they're talking about. They're talking about dynamic shaping. Now that you know this, you can imagine why we need to expand our limits of our dynamic range. If your dynamic range is about this big, then you only have about this much to work with in between for each dynamic, and they all end up kind of really sounding the same. So when you practice your etudes, your repertoire, your band music, whatever, take it as an opportunity to say, will I find my upper limit today? Will I find my lower limit today? How am I expressing the mood and character in each dynamic category? So I'm sharing with you a very simple etude. There are many, many out there, but this one is an easy way for us to really focus on dynamics and musical line. The softest dynamic here is pianissimo. The loudest dynamic in here is forte. So this is an opportunity for you to expand your dynamic range. So when you get to the forte, make sure that while you're pushing yourself, make sure you know you have a little bit more left in you for those fortissimo passages that come down the road. So keep practicing pushing your boundaries, which will make your music so much more effectively and communicate so much more emotion. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, a good week next week, and as always, happy practicing. Hey everyone, I am Callie from Callie's Clarinet Academy. I've just launched my new website and Callie's Clarinet Academy, which is an online space where adults can go to learn about clarinet, take online courses, and join a community. I will be launching very soon my finger speed mini course. I hope you guys will go check it out. I put a link below, and I have a special online course for anybody who joins Patreon. It's free, but it's only for patrons. I hope you guys will go check it out. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and as always, happy practicing.